Days to find out that the new terminal's not going to open on a original scheduled time?
I wasn't surprised only because I had some advance warning of that, but as we've heard from the Airport Authority, they're still on budget. In fact, they're hoping to get some budget savings, and they want to open it well. And you know, in my past life, I had to fly through the Denver International Airport every week, and this was a couple of years after they opened, and they were still having trouble with their baggage system. So hopefully we'll open it properly and open it well, and I have faith in the Airport Authority to be able to do that.
They also talked about airport noise. There have been a lot of complaints. How many have you heard?
Lots and lots. And in fact, as someone who flies, I have noticed that the paths have changed slightly, and I understand they're going to change more on April 30th, which should help a lot. I mean, the good news about what we've got is we've got industrial areas around the airport, and as I keep saying, these air traffic routes are not highways, they're not carved in stone, they can be changed. And I've been really happy that the airport and Nav Canada have been looking at that, and I understand there will be some relief starting April 30th, and that they're looking at some more relief in the midterm.
Talk about taxi.
The thing that we did to change how we regulate the taxi system a few years ago is become a really data-driven regulation model, and people around the country are looking at this model. You know, we now have data on every single cab and its activity at all times. So this actually allows us to get to the bottom of some really important questions. A lot of drivers and even passengers are telling us that the cab business has really fallen off the cliff since January. And the data that the Taxi and Limousine Advisory Committee had was really only until the end of 2014. And this morning we've heard that in February, business was down 5% over the previous February. So obviously this has been an extraordinary quarter. And we have the metrics to see how well the system is working. So it seems to me that if we have those metrics, it makes sense to look at that data and make a decision on how many cabs to release, if any, at this time based on that data. And the data is really pointing towards perhaps we need to slow down on the release.
We say slow down?
Don't know yet. Let's see how council goes this afternoon. I suspect there'll be a lot of good debate on that.
Okay, just one more
Yes.
from the Eamon
Oh, sure.
story.
Eamon.
Is this the end of it?
Oh, I don't think so. So the city was not able to receive any bids to keep the Eamon's building in place at Tuscany Station prior to the deadline. Since then, there has been one offer to move it back to the station. This one needs a bit of work. There have been a couple of interesting ideas to move that building somewhere else, including potentially at Haskayne Park. And the motion before council today, I think, would keep those options open, but would also open us up to other options to save that building. I remain convinced that that building ought to be saved, and I haven't heard anyone wanting to demolish it today, so I'm hoping we'll be able to find a good option from here.
Should it stay in city hands then? Should it stay on the site?
I would prefer if it stayed on the site. I understand that there are a lot of logistical problems with keeping it on the site, so if we can't find a good way to get it back on the site, we can find another way that that beautiful building can be used and enjoyed, whether in city hands or in private hands. I'm totally open to that.
The report says there are ways to keep it on site. It would just cost a few $100,000. Is it worth spending a few $100,000
Well,
money initially to save the building on site?
I'd prefer to find a solution that costs a bit less if we can, or offsets other costs, like moving it to Haskayne Park. That said, I mean, one of the options to make it a tiny affordable housing unit at a C train station not attached to anything else is a bit silly. And if we can't get a business to work in that site, we don't want to have an empty building at that train station. So my goal is to make sure that that building is used and loved.
It sounds like you're okay with $1,100 a month storage and we find a solution.
Of all the things the city spends lots and lots of money on, I'm not really fussed about $1,000 a month to keep that piece of heritage in place until we have a better solution. I'm intrigued by the Haskayne Park solution, and I know Mr. and Mrs. Haskayne are also very intrigued by that, thinking that it'll be a nice nod to their own past and the history of oil and gas in this community. So I'd like to flesh that one out some more.